Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button. Let's get that little business out of the way. I'm really excited for this conversation that we're going to have today because I've been wanting to talk about. It's interesting when you listen to people talk about AI and kind of where they are within and what they think. But before we get started, I want to say hello to Melanie. You know, she's been with us before. She's going to be back next week. We don't know what we're talking about yet, though. So we will figure that out. And then you all know John. He's been here before.
like from the beginning.
From the beginning. And we're over the next few months, we're gonna try out new little things and see what we're gonna do. So today we're starting a new segment in the beginning of the show called This Week I Realized. And just whatever it might be, a little something funny or something important or something cute or something uplifting. So I'm going to start because this one has been like playing over and over in my head all week. This week I realized, and it's interesting because it's an offshoot of the show and talking about fear of AI. This week I realized that sorry, there's a comment already. Hello, Joanne. Anyway, this week I realized that the Serenity Prayer is in fact an affirmation. I have been reciting the Serenity Prayer for so long because I'm an Al-Anon kid that the fear, right, of the unknown is just gone for me. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And when they told me that, I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And we talk about the importance. I'm not huge on ritual and, you don't really need to light a candle for 9 days and give an apple to an archangel to invite them in. But there is something to be said about the Pavlovian response, right? And so why wouldn't, when I turn on that music, probably the best meditation for meditation and relaxation. Yeah, that's the name of the piece.
Oh yeah, that's right.
How I told you, when I turn that on, my body goes, oh, get it, time to check out. So I believe now that these affirmations, you recite them and your body's like, oh, I understand. This is the state that we're looking for. Here you go. Easy to get to now because you've said it enough. Your mind has run through it enough. It's comfortable. You understand it. And it's a state of being that is comfortable and appropriate for you and all of those around you. So that is what I realized this week.
Cool.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. And the fact that you've done both a biological response, that's the Pavlovian, and a spiritual response, which is
right.
Which is the point of the affirmation. Both of them working together, that's the magic.
Yep, it is. Because so let's be clear, the Pavlovian response is about the ego, right? The brain.
Oh yeah, right.
That is the physical part of the response.
Right.
It's the brain. Like the brain in meditation, the brain chill, right? So, if we could only take our egos and put them in a bucket and put them to the side for a little while, it would be an interesting.
The world would be a better.
I actually know people that when they're in meditation, take their ego and put it in a glass cube, or tell it to go take a vacation.
That's what I do. I say, go sit down. Thank you for what you're trying to do. Go sit down. You're not welcome. You're not welcome in this space that I've created.
That's kind of like telling AI to take a nap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, okay. So who's next?
I'll go next. So this week I learned that toads are loud.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So I have a little pond. So here's the story. A little pond in my backyard that I put in, I don't know, 15 years ago. And so lots of little creatures like it. But our favorite thing, of course, is toads. and we have a toad trilling. Toads trill.
Yeah.
And we've had them before, but this one was particularly loud. And we thought, oh, wow, that's really cool. But then, 3 hours later, it's like still trilling. It's time to go to bed. But here's the best part. The next day in the evening, he's trilling again. And I thought I'd go take a look at him. And there he is. There they are, mating in my pond. And so I told my son, like, guess what? That toad that's trilling, he's mating in the pond. He's like, I want to see.
Oh, gosh.
Now,
of course he does.
Funny thing, they're not in there anymore, which means they're done. And we might have little baby toadlets coming out of that pond.
Oh, fantastic.
I can hardly wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, okay.
That's fun.
Toads fall into the category of fish poop, so you know where I stand on that.
True. But I love my pond, and I really love the little creatures that it attracts. That's the best part of having a pond.
Good. I love that you have that pond, and I love that you love it.
All right. That's what I experienced this
That's
week.
Amazing. I like toads in cartoons and, pictures and coloring books and whatnot. How about you, Melanie?
This week, I realized that our spiritual practice doesn't necessarily have to have ritual. I love ritual, but also don't have the time all the time. I know what the moon phases are and stuff, but then I'll be like, oh, it's a full moon and I don't have the energy or the time or the resource. I don't have anything to do with the ritual. And I realized what made me realize that was, when you're like trying to manifest money or whatever, you do all that, they tell you to do all the things with rituals and whatever, burning a green candle and blah, 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 blah. And I got some bills and I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to pay these. So I was just like, I don't know, angels, you got it. And like, that's literally all I did. And I released any stress about it. I was like, it'll come when it comes. And then I got some opportunities that will, take care of it. So I'm just like, oh, I didn't have
love
to
that
light
story.
a candle or do anything. It was literally an internal ritual, if you will, like I literally just put my emotions where they needed to be.
You take care of it. That's the best ritual I've ever heard. Ever.
So what is that? That is visualize.
Right. Align and surrender. That's surrender. But I did it. It didn't have to be this big thing where I have to journal and I have to sit and meditate for 20 minutes or anything. I did it in 5 seconds. I visualized I'm going to get a check in the mail or whatever. And I aligned myself with it in saying, I trust that it's going to happen. I'm removing all the fear and I surrender. Angels, you got it.
Surrender is actually an action.
Mm-hmm.
By the way. I think that's really, there is a trick to that, right? Because that's true surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's true trust.
Mm-hmm.
That's not everybody gets to that place immediately. Somebody will hear this and they'll say, well, I did that, Melanie, and then it didn't work for me. And why? Because you didn't truly trust that the angels were going to show up for you.
Yep.
Right.
So the aligned action is actually the trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
I love when that happens because all of that. Okay, I'm gonna let them say it. When you said that about the green candles and all that stuff, this is what Matthew said. Hooey.
Right. Exactly. You don't, okay, whatever. If that's what will bring you closer to your spirituality, but it's a tool. That's what AI is. That's what money is. That's what all these things are. It's a tool.
It's a tool, right? Without
it, it is just as sacred. It is just as effective. And
right. And I don't want to discount ritual for people who believe in it, right? Like I can see the value of ritual, but I think where the problem with ritual comes into play is when somebody creates a ritual, prepares a spell, whatever they do, and they are releasing the responsibility of creating that abundance for themselves. Just, in other words, you did a conscious release, which is to me an aligned action. Lighting a green candle is not necessarily an aligned action.
Right.
I think what happens is sometimes the ritual is, I did the ritual, I went step by step, therefore I'm done.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just not how it works.
That's not how it works.
And you're kind of giving your power over to the ritual.
Exactly right. That's
you said it better
right.
You know, and you don't want to do that. We have the power. We have the power to co-create our reality. So we need to just accept it and say, this is what I'm doing. I don't need the external stuff. It's all internal, you know?
Right. And, so this is not on the subject, but I just want to put this out there anyway, because always, our whole lives, there's ups, there's downs, there's financial freedom, there's financial woes. But always, our whole lives, my husband and I, the whole marriage, somewhere along the line, some windfall shows up. It might be a bonus. It could be, it might be, an insurance policy that was forgotten about. It could be, a job that generates, a job for me that generates more income over and above, or whatever. And I mean, it's happened so many times. I remember thinking to myself, this has got to be the last time it's going to happen.
That's happened to me too, because for the past year, it's like that's just been happening over and over and over again. And I've had that thought of, okay, eventually this is going to run out.
But it does. I'm here to tell you it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Why would it run out? We were created to live abundant, beautiful, joyful lives. It's not going to run out.
Exactly.
Because it's going to run out comes from a scarcity mindset.
Exactly. And when you flip when you move to so scarcity, and abundance, they're polarity of the same thing, right? So now I will say, in the southeast corner of my house, I do have a financial freedom grid.
Yep.
Crystals, rosemary. I swear somebody not a person, but somebody told me to put rosemary in the grid years ago. I let it dry out, and then every once in a while put fresh from the deli or the produce department. And underneath it says, we are financially free. This is not, we are millionaires. We are financially free, right? And as long as it's been there, there's always been something. There's always been something. So
but you haven't given your power to that.
No. In fact, half the time I forget about it.
Right. Exactly.
But what I believe that happens when you have something like that is you look at it, it reminds you to be in that state of surrender, that state of flow, right? Is it magic? Like, there's a lot of conversation that could be had around that. That's not for today. Is there some magic to it? I believe in magic. I believe in Oz. I believe in those things. I don't believe the Illuminati are in the middle of the moon, but other than that, I believe in a lot of stuff. But I believe that's a supporting role. It plays a supporting role in reminding me that. So in other words, if you came to my house and took it away, would I think this would all come to an end? Absolutely not.
No, I think it's part of the magic, but not all.
Exactly. It's part of the magic. I believe crystal grids are meant to remind you to act in alignment with what it is that you want. That's what I believe their magic is. And they influence your energy in a way that helps keep those limiting beliefs and all of those things clear from your energy, the things that get in the way of you taking aligned action. Now, let's stop with that one, because I really want to get to AI today.
That is why we're here.
That is, I really want to talk about AI today. I heard, so I'm going to lead with this just because I thought it was interesting, and then we'll see where we go with this. Melanie, you've seen some things I write. John, I think you've seen some things I write. I was in a group, like a, like in like a mastermind group last night. And somebody said, I'm not going to mention who it was, but this person said that they could spot AI because the copy has semicolons. And that's a telltale sign of AI because nobody uses semicolons. And I'm like,
Wrong.
wait, hold on.
Wrong,
I use
wrong,
semicolons
I
all
use
the time.
semicolons all the time. Like, so
I can spot an AI piece, but it's not because of semicolons.
No,
Yeah.
a lot of times, and you're right. A lot of times you can spot an AI piece, especially if people don't use your amazing tool that shows them how to give the AI their own voice.
Mhm.
So we'll tell you about that at the end. We'll put a link to her course, Alchemize Your Brand with AI. We'll put a link to that in the description, or however that works on YouTube, in the comments or something, because it's amazing. I'm halfway through. I'm halfway through that course, and I have had a lot of classes on how to work with ChatGPT, and I learned things. So this is well worth it. How long did you play with AI to figure out all that stuff?
Since it came out,
Which
when
is
it
like years ago, right?
Well, when I mean AI has been around for 50 years, 70 years.
Yeah,
something
right,
like that.
exactly.
When OpenAI released the stuff, I won't get
Right.
technical.
Their original,
Public.
the original free version.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
When they did that in, I think it was October, November of 2022, I was like, what is this? This is, I'm a tech nerd.
Yep.
And I'm like, what? And I immediately just was like, oh my goodness, all of the potential that this has. And my brain was spinning and spinning and spinning. But I also was like, I also see the potential for the bad and how this could be used
And guess
badly.
what? Both are happening.
Right. So I just was like, I sat with myself I just kind of sat there and I was like, is this actually a threat to anything? Well, no, not really, because everything can be a threat. And I can get into that later. But I was like, no, not really. And I really it dawned on me that AI is for this next generation, or for this time, what the internet was for us.
Correct.
And remember, there was so much fear. Oh my God, we're not going to mail letters anymore. We're not going to, make a phone call anymore. Everything's going to be online and blah, blah, blah. And it just kind of occurred to me that that was where we were headed as humans. And I was like, it's you adapt or you get left behind. And I was
Right.
like, I'm not gonna get left behind.
Yep.
Let me
I'm not
say,
that kind of girl.
let me say something real quick. I just want to put this out there because I asked Flash, that's ChatGPT. I call him Flash.
Flash.
Anyway,
I call mine Chadwick.
he reminds me.
Jeez,
He reminds me of somebody I know.
Mine.
So, anyway, I asked, will there be a time when AI needs to eliminate humanity? I wanted to see, what I would hear.
What did it say?
So here's the response. The idea of AI eliminating humanity is a popular theme in science fiction. But in reality, the development and use of AI is heavily focused on ethics, safety, and beneficial outcomes.
Yeah.
The AI community, including researchers, developers, and policymakers, actively work to ensure that AI systems are designed responsibly to serve humanity, not harm it.
Yep.
AI is a tool created by humans to solve problems and enhance our capabilities. Enhance our capabilities?
Well,
As with any
writing,
powerful tool, there is a potential for misuse, which is why there's a lot of emphasis on creating robust ethical guidelines and safety measures. The goal is to prevent unintended consequences and ensure AI technologies are aligned with human values and well-being. So this is the final paragraph. For now, it's important to stay informed and engaged in how AI develops and to contribute to the discussions about its ethical use. This helps ensure that AI remains a positive force in society. And then actually ask me, what are your thoughts on the integration of AI in our lives, which I won't go into. But I was, it was kind of a joke when I went in and asked that question. But I am, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it can only go as far as it is programmed to go, right? Like,
as the material it's trained on. Yes.
Right.
I mean, it's not, I mean, because I remember at first I thought, well, I do find this funny, but at first I thought, did none of you people watch the smart home movies in the 80s?
Yeah, I remember those.
So there's that. But what else I find very hilarious is, oh my God, I can't use ChatGPT. AI is going to ruin our lives. And then, Alexa, can you put toilet paper on my shopping list?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Or Netflix. Oh, yeah, Netflix.
Alexa,
I would love to watch that.
Alexa, just put toilet paper on my shopping list.
Oh, that's funny. A friend of mine was watching TV when an Alexa commercial came on, and Alexa just kind of perked up, and he's like, no, be quiet. It's a commercial.
Cancel, no.
I don't even know how to access the shopping list in Alexa, so
it's getting pretty big.
Yeah, I don't put too much on it. But I think that as with anything, the advent of technology has been problematic for humans, but it's also been uplifting and healing, and I mean, look at all the things that technology and innovation have brought to us, the end to certain cancers. And so I guess my fear would be mostly for the young people. And here's what it would be. And it's not really a fear. My concern would be that young people become too reliant.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, write me a term paper on blah, blah, whatever.
And then they don't actually learn.
And they're right. And they're not learning. And they're not only are they not learning, but they're not developing the synapses or whatever, critical the pathways thinking that are required, for them to put those things together. So, but you know what? Hello, people, stop giving your 8-year-old a friggin' tablet, okay?
Well, yeah, my kids don't have technology. I mean, they do, but they get like maybe 20 minutes a day.
Yeah,
right.
Devices.
Yep, I mean, when you sit there and you see a 3-year-old like this.
No, it's ridiculous. That is so.
I'm sorry that that does not resonate.
It's abuse
with me
in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
I'm
with you actually.
I see it. I see I see AI as a tool, like a knife. You can take a knife and make a sandwich for a loved one and do something good, right? Or you can kill somebody, right?
True.
That's how AI is. And I choose to use it and look at it as, okay, I can do a lot more good here because AI and using AI is going to free up my time so I can help more of my clients. Who are my clients? My clients are the people who are here to do good things for the world. They're not here. They're not bankers. They're not car dealers. They're not anything like that. If I can teach these people who are doing really good things how to use AI as a tool to free up more time so that they can go and do more good things, how is that bad? How does that make AI evil?
Exactly.
It empowers them to do more good.
And I've also heard, and again, I won't mention any names or where I've heard this, but there are writers, editors, publishers who are concerned about people using AI instead of, let's say, if you need let's say you need a sales page, instead of going to Fiverr and paying somebody on Fiverr to do that work for you. I personally don't think that the people who are using AI to create things for themselves are the ones that would pay someone else to do it.
Even more than that, though, if we take AI and AI is going to do this set of tasks now, okay, everybody who is doing those tasks, you can use AI to do even more than you were doing before.
Exactly, right?
Yep.
Right.
So even if you're still paying someone, the quality of what you're getting should be better.
That's really a good point.
Yeah. I think it
And
bumps everybody up.
right. And you have to still use your human cognitive knowledge and all of that. Like my branding course, I teach you how to use AI, but in it, I infused my branding expertise. I
That's good.
blended it all together. So you're learning not only the functionality of how to use AI, but I'm also giving you branding. You know, you
Right.
have to know how to write a brand, how to write a sales page, how to write, so copy editors, marketers, whatever, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job to AI. No, we
you're
still
going to
need
use
your
AI to do
expertise.
better.
Yeah, we still
Right.
need your expertise. Same
Because
like a doctor with a scalpel or whatever. Like as tools and technology come along for doctors, they can have that tool, but the doctor's still going to need to be there for their expertise to know how to use the tool.
right. I mean, and a good example to that is robotic surgery, right?
Right.
Where they're using the robot,
know where to cut,
but they don't just line you up with the robot and push a button and turn it on and say go for it. They
One of my favorite examples, and it's kind of humorous, but when Big Blue, the computer, beat the Grandmaster chess player, the story is what did the computer do after that? Nothing. What did the humans do? They went out to the pub and had a conversation on a drink.
Right.
Like
because they have emotion.
Right. The computer is still going to be in the little box, and the humans are still going to connect with each other. I did a fun exercise. I'm going to throw this out there. I asked AI about tarot, and tarot gave me kind of a big spiel of what it is and how it's used, and not everybody believes in it, and yada yada yada. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ask tarot about AI, and I did a really nice spread, and it basically had the hermit, kind of the guru, and then it had a couple. The gist of the spread was thinking and moving forward.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, this is a tool that's going to help us move forward, and we want to be cognizant and remain thinking about it.
Right. And for spiritual people, we only have so much time, and there's only so many of us, and we are all here to raise the vibration of the planet. If we can do more, if we can get more of that done because our admin time has been freed up a little bit by AI,
I mean,
we're just doing good, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting to me to think about like John. We have conversations about AI and how it's used and what you use it for. And you have told me you've asked AI things that I'm like, dang, I should have thought of that. Like I wouldn't even have. In other words, you don't even necessarily realize its capacity because you're limited to what you can do with AI by what you can conceptualize, right?
Right.
So, and I'm not going to spill, on air because the one thing we're talking about is really brilliant. But I was like, damn, I should have thought of that. So I think that I'd like for each of us to kind of say what Melanie, I know like you use it right now, you're marketing it, using it to market as an integral part of your business. But for me, and your course is just so amazing. Like I'm telling you, I learned things that I hadn't learned in other classes I've taken about ChatGPT. Like, for example, I never heard of Claude until now. But I use ChatGPT to take the things that are floating around in bubbles in my head that I cannot get on paper in any kind of organized manner, to take those things and organize them into an outline for me. That's so awesome. When I use ChatGPT, and I've used your method to go in and give ChatGPT my own voice or create a GPT like as the marketer's voice, and those kind of things. My next thing is connecting it to Canva, which I can't wait. But I take it and I say, using the prompts, this is what I want to create. This is my, the basic of it. Please ask me 10 questions to help you give me an outline for what this program is.
Yep.
And then I answer the questions and I get this outline and I look at it and I'll go, you know, 1 through 5 are really great.
Right.
But, you know, 6 through 10 need to be reorganized or whatever. And then I take it apart.
Right.
And I write it and then I give it back and I say, okay, here's what I've come up with for number 1. Please polish it and format it.
Yep.
You know, for design. Because who's got time to put all them little friggin' emojis and everything and the bullet points and stuff?
Right. Yeah.
That's funny.
Exactly.
And I will tell you that half the time ChatGPT takes out my friggin' semicolons, okay? I'm just saying.
I know. I was gonna say it doesn't really do that a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe earlier.
But the point, the real point is that it can take what you do and polish it in a way that makes it easy to read and understand for other people. Especially because I know, Melanie, you focus on working with neurodivergent people, which, let's face it, who isn't nowadays?
Honestly, I think a lot of people are. I
really do. I mean, I am. You know, and I will also say, so whether you appreciate this or not, I don't know. Melanie's program is amazing, and you can even get through it if you need to fast forward, which I do.
Yeah.
So you can listen to it all, and it's not not too long, but I can only
that's
do
what
so
I
much.
focused on. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be digestible because for me, I have the attention span of a gnat.
Yeah, me too.
I have my kids always interrupting. I don't have time to sit there and watch a 2-hour lecture.
Yeah,
so I break it down into small things, and by the end, you're like, "Oh my god, I have a brand." You know,
that's awesome.
And I mean, it's amazing.
Thank you.
So,
I'm a huge fan too.
Yeah, right. Like, what's not to love? So, John, without going too deep into some of the projects that I know what you're working on. So it's hard.
I got another one though I want to talk about.
Okay, so I was going to say, let's hear what, you know, kind of what you're using or how you're doing it. I don't think we're going to have a lot of time to talk about the fear around it, but I'm okay with that because I decided if everybody hears how the 3 of us have embraced it, maybe it'll make them a little bit more willing to check it out and not be so afraid.
Yep.
And
I mean, let's try it. What's the worst What's the worst that can happen?
Right.
You don't like what it said, you close it, you forget about it, and that's the end of it.
Here's a good prompt for people to try. Write a rhyming poem about, and then put in your dog's name.
Oh,
and
see what I mean?
See that's what that was one of my first things I ever did. My kid wanted a rhyming poem about Minecraft, and so we did. And I'm like, oh my god, this is good.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm working on. So I'm working on a program right now where I'm helping authors get from idea to a first draft without the what is it called, writer's block and the blank page. So we're doing, in a nutshell, it's there's kind of a brainstorming exercise that starts with a few questions, and then it's a phone with a voice recorder, and you tell stories. Just tell me 10 stories. And so we tell 10 stories, and then they send me the recordings, and then I go transcription, and then I have an AI tool that does good writing based on kind of a brain dump of stuff, and then that then goes to a friend of mine who's a developmental editor, and she edits for publication, and then there's a self-publishing, or there's a process to do the pitch to the publishing company. And so we're taking our first client through this, and I'm really excited that everybody that's working on it is really excited, including the author. So it's
that's amazing.
I feel like AI kind of ignites and helps us realize or remember our passions. Like, I love design, I love art, and I love writing, and I love marketing and all that. And made me more excited about it. So, for example, if I'm writing a blog post and I'm like sitting at a blank screen, just the cursor blinking at me, and I'm like,
Here we go
I
again.
hate it, right? I
Yeah.
hate the writing. If I'm sitting at Canva trying to come up with a design or something and it's blank and my brain is just like, girl, we're
Yeah,
not
the
doing that
blank
today.
is tough.
It is. And then I get discouraged, right? But if I go into Midjourney and I just start brain dumping, do an image of blah, 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 and it gives me 4 options, and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. And now I can use this in this way. And,
It's a
really
Kickstarter.
excites me.
Yes.
But please,
Creative
Midjourney, don't put any hands in the image.
All you have to do is say no extra
Looking like
hands,
this.
Yeah,
There.
right.
no extra fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
Although now you can edit.
Well, that's
Damn.
good. So
Right.
just because I said, and I asked, so this is what happened in ChatGPT right now. Hi, ChatGPT, please write a rhyming. And then I accidentally said program instead of poem about my dog Bentley.
Uh-oh.
Sure, Angie, here's a rhyming program about Bentley. It actually gave me code.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
no,
And
goodness.
says, this
That's
is a
the coolest thing I've
simple,
ever heard.
That
this is
so
the
funny.
simple, this simple Python program creates a dog class for Bentley where he can bark and wag his tail, increasing his happiness level each time. You can run the script in any Python environment to see how it works. I don't have any idea what a Python environment is, but
I do. Pass it over. I'll run it for you.
okay, cool. So then I said, oh, thanks, but I meant a rhyming poem. And he said, oops. Let Bentley, a
Not
pup
your
with
fault.
a golden glow through fields of dreams, he loves to roam. With a wag and a bark, he greets the day in sunlit paths where children play. His eyes a sparkle like morning dew, Bentley's love forever true. With each wagging tail in joyful spree, he brings a world of glee to thee. A friend, a joy, our golden boy, his every wag, a beat of joy. Bentley, with your heart so wide, you'll fill our lives with love inside. Adorable.
That's so dope.
I did mine. I did one
Yep.
for my dog Luna. It says Luna dances in the moon's glow, a silvery coat, soft as fresh snow,
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
with paws that prance on the dew-kissed ground. In her eyes, a universe found. I'm like, oh,
Oh, I know. Isn't that beautiful? I just love this stuff.
I know.
I mean,
And
it's
like,
just so much. And you can do a little bit in ChatGPT for free, can't you?
yeah, you can do
Oh,
a
quite a
lot
bit,
in
a lot.
ChatGPT for free. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have naturally, of course, I have the,
Yeah.
A
paid
good one.
version.
And if you know how to prompt it, it won't be bait. You can still get it to go in your voice.
Oh, right. Well, and it, yeah, because you can, if you use the free one, which I did in the beginning, I asked it to ask me questions about how I
Mhm.
thought and how I
Right.
spoke, and then please use these answers to create, whatever we were working on. So,
Have you guys found any mistakes that ChatGPT made? I have a couple funny ones.
Mhm.
oh yeah, really? Like what? Let's hear it.
All right, so I was using ChatGPT to help me with lyrics. I do music, and I wanted lyrics for a song, and I needed a certain number of syllables to match my rhythm. So I said, I need a poem about such and such, and I want 8 syllables in the first line, 10 in the second line, 8 in the third line, and 12 in the fourth line. And ChatGPT said, here you go. And I'm like, wrong. I said, do you know what a syllable is? Yes, a syllable is, the word syllables has 3 syllables. I'm like, correct. You did it wrong in this poem. Oh, sorry, I'll do it again. Still wrong. I said, how many syllables are in the first line? And it goes, 9. And how many did I ask for? 8. Do it again. It did it again, wrong. I said, forget it. I'll do it myself. Thank you.
Mhm.
This is
Yeah,
where
then-
Melanie would say, please go take a nap, right?
Yeah. I
I
say,
think-
go take a nap and I'll pay you $100 when you come back.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I think
that's awesome.
think that counting seems to be an issue.
Counting
Mhm.
certain things.
Yeah.
So it's 3.5 isn't very good at data analysis.
Okay,
And that
all
kind
right.
of thing.
If I use 4, it's probably
You have
better.
to use 4, yeah,
Okay.
if you
Oh,
want
that's
to do
good
that
to know.
that kind of thing. I did, before I knew that, I was like, hey, I've got this list of cities, like 200 cities. I want you to verify the zip code for each city and the time zone. And it did it. And then I was like, and put it in a table format and blah, blah, blah. It did it. And I was like, I'm not trusting by nature.
Right. Me
So
too.
I was like, well, let me just spot check it. So I just kind of scrolled down. I was like, let's check this one. And it was wrong. And then I did, okay, let's check this one. And it was right. So I'm like, So I gave it back to it. And I said, try it again. I found some errors. And it kept screwing up, but it would screw up different ones.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
So
It's
that
not
was
like,
frustrating.
it's not
for
getting
me.
better and better. It just keeps the same level of
Well,
Right.
to be honest, to those who are fearful of AI, I think this should be a salve, right? Like it doesn't have all the answers.
No, it doesn't.
And in my mind, I mean, I can see why you wanted to do that. It's just not something I would expect it to be able to do. So all of us
now, but in the
all of
beginning,
us think about it differently.
Yep.
Like
I had a
And-
very similar thing happen to me, almost exactly. I was looking for percentages. I said, here's a bunch of topics and a bunch of numbers. Give me the percentage that each of these numbers applies to the whole, and it couldn't do it.
No. And again, that's giving your power away. If you're like, okay, I have this dreary task that I don't want to do. I'm going to trust that you're doing it right. Well, you can't do that.
No.
You know.
no, and you know, and okay, so to those people who are upset that it's going to take jobs away, I'm here to tell you, if you needed that analysis, that would be a thing that you could send to somebody on Fiverr,
right,
and get it done for you, an actual person who likes percentages. I don't know anyone, but I charge way too much. So, but that's the point, isn't it? Like, you can't just dump an idea into it for a novel and have it write a novel. It just doesn't
not a good
work
one
that way.
No.
Not a good one. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
I like that Amazon's cracking down on that, by the way. Because for a while there's a lot of just garbage coming out being published as books that people would read and say, not only is this bad, there's things in here that are factually wrong.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Well, and that's it. And it's only got, I think 4.0 goes farther or is closer to now than 3.5, right? Because isn't 3.5 is still in 2021 or something. So, but you know, that's, well, but this is that time, right? You know, that everybody now, especially young people, are accustomed to becoming millionaires making 30-second videos.
Right.
And
I will say at least the university college that my daughter is going to, they are like, you use AI for your papers and you will get a failing grade. So for her final, she just had it a couple of days ago, and she's like, Mommy, can you check it? Make sure it doesn't have any AI in it. It doesn't sound like AI. And I was like, yeah, no, you're good. You know, and I ran it through. I looked at it and I said, no, I can definitely tell you wrote this. But just to be safe, because she's kind of neurotic, I said, look, I even ran it through an AI checker and it says it's human written. So you're good.
There's such a thing as an AI checker?
Yeah. Yep. And there's a lot of people that are
source?
trying to fool the AI checkers, believe it or not.
Yeah.
See, that's just so ridiculous.
I know, isn't it?
That's a classic example of use your
powers for good rather than evil.
Right. Exactly.
Rather than, I mean,
you know what though? I think universities saying you may not use AI to, I mean, we will fail you if X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That's like a stopgap, right?
Yeah.
What needs to happen is we're going to teach you writing. All right, now we're going to use AI to help you build your outline.
Right.
And then we are going to test you in class to write an essay without AI right now. So you can't use AI for your test.
Exactly. And that's what she did. She used it to organize her thoughts, because she's very much like me, where she's just all over the place. So she organized her thoughts. She got an outline and then she wrote it, you know, and I'm like, that's the perfect way to use AI. And it helped her because she didn't have to sit there looking at a blank screen trying to come up with an outline.
Well, and an outline for somebody who is neurodivergent is
Right.
It's
like
hard.
one of the most
I
difficult
can't
things.
do it.
I can't make an outline myself.
Mm-mm.
I can't. I can look at an AI created outline and say,
Yeah.
no, that doesn't work for me. We
Right.
need to rearrange it. But there's
Right.
got to be a starting place.
Yes.
Blank page from blank page to outline. I can't do that.
I can't either.
It's so if you use AI as a tool to help you organize your thoughts, polish your content, and then there's a lot of other useful things like, a lot of us are doing, social media posts and quotes, which we're quoting other people anyway when we're doing that. And, you can ask ChatGPT to organize it. I think it's by number or something where you can copy and paste it into Canva for bulk creating. So for things like that, again, what you're talking about, free up time so you can do the actual work. Because let's face it, a lot of us that are starting out on a real shoestring. We don't have tons of money.
Right. I use it also to strategize, and I did it today. I said, okay, you know my audience, you know my business, you know my branding, you know my offers. These are the lists. I want to drive traffic to my business. Here's a list of what, all the traffic sources, Instagram, webinars, it was a list of about 20 things. So then I said, knowing my audience, knowing my offers, knowing me, I even gave it a little bit about my personality and like how I like to work and stuff like that. Knowing all of that, out of this list, where
should I focus?
Where should I focus? Yeah. Because looking at a list of 20 things, I'm like, nope, I'm done. I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's like me in cleaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And it did a really great job. It listed them all out and it gave reasons and it said the pros and cons of each and all of that. And shockingly, Facebook wasn't on there. Instagram and TikTok were. And I said, it's interesting that I don't see Facebook on there. Explain why. And it said, well, because your target market doesn't really hang out on Facebook. They do, but they don't really. Do you know what I mean? And they were like, your efforts would be better focused here in doing this. And then I was like, cool. And the first thing was like a workshop, and it gave me ideas for workshops. And
I love that.
Outlines and all that. I started it. This whole process took me 20 minutes. If I was doing that on my own, I would still be going over the different types of workshops and the different avenues and stuff like that for weeks. I would go back and forth with myself, guaranteed.
You could take what you just talked about as another course.
Yes, it's going to be.
Right, exactly. And what's interesting about that is it helps you understand that to create a workshop, what you need is an outline. You don't really need. Is it nice to have a script? Yes, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Not for me. I'm terrible with a script.
I hate scripts.
I sound like an automaton, right? Like, but if you can get it in a presentation where it organizes your thoughts and gives you talking points, I mean, it's so freeing. So
it gives me the ideas. It gives me bullet points, and then I use my creativity and my personality and to present it. I never read directly.
No, exactly. And if it's something I need copy, I write. This is what I'm doing. I write the prompts. I answer the questions. It gives me what I want. Then I go in and put it in a Word doc, and I take out this word and this word and fix this sentence and do this and do that. Then I put it back and say, this is how I want it, but please polish the format.
Right.
Although don't ask it to polish grammar, because it's not so great with grammar, ChatGPT. It's interesting when you pull it out of ChatGPT and put it in a Word doc, how it lights up, with the spell checker.
Yes.
But polish it, put bullet points where they belong, where they're appropriate, and
headers,
all of that. And it just makes it so much easier to get that in like the text blocks in Canva or whatever. I just don't see the downside.
Right.
And it's not even particularly expensive.
No.
I mean, it's really not a pricey, what is it, 20?
It's $20 a month. And to me, it's a lot cheaper than hiring a VA. Also, pro tip, there's this thing called po.com. Same cost, $20 a month. You have access to all the models. ChatGPT 4, Claude
Gemini,
Claude with all of the different levels of Claude, Gemini, not Midjourney, obviously, but Llama, which is Meta's new one. All of them, like hundreds of them.
At the highest level?
At the high, you can get Claude Opus on there.
All right.
For the same price.
For $20.
I thought they were giving you access to all the basic ones.
And what's really exciting for a nerd like me is you can create a bot and then sell it. ChatGPT doesn't have that yet.
So I've been using that.
Yeah.
In a different service. One of my claim to fame, I guess, is I take authors' books and put them in a bot, and then I have their readers can go in and ask the author anything.
Yep. I love that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, once again, we've gone over. We've had listeners this whole time though, so we really appreciate you sticking around to the end. If you haven't yet, please pop over, or if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Obviously, there's a whole lot more to talk about when it comes to this.
Yeah, part 2 next week.
No, not part 2 next week.
Okay, all right.
No.
Just an idea.
No. Too much for next week already. I want to do something fun next week. We'll come up with something else.
All right.
There's so much to talk about.
So much.
I don't know, maybe not AI copy, but images and art and what that looks like and the ins and outs
my
of
AI
that
music story.
And things like that. So because it does have the ability to, like for example, in the style of Ansel Adams, which I find disagreeable myself. So anyway, again, we ran over. Thank you all for listening this far. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button. If you love us, share us. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And,